afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to All About Sports. Today, we discuss the Chicago Bears have declined the fifth-year option on quarterback Mitchell Trubisky for the 2021 season, a source told ESPN's Adam Schefter on Saturday. The Bears, who went 8-8 and failed to reach the playoffs last season, acquired quarterback Nick Foles in a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars in March. I'm your host, Luca, and joining me today are Ethan Polak from Just Talking About Sports, and as well, Matt Posner from Just Talking About Sports. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Exquisite.
All right, Matt, I'm going to come to you first today. Did the Bears make the right decision on declining Trubisky's fifth-year option?
Yes, because what you've seen so far from Trubisky has been inconclusive in the sense that they've struggled. You know, their offense has always been the main issue. Even when they made the playoffs in 2018-19, they just heavily struggled on the offensive side of the ball. It's the reason they lost to the Eagles at that time. And they weren't good last year because of Trubisky's weak offensive play as well. And that doesn't come as a coincidence that they were weak because of him. He was inconsistent. The long ball was not accurate. The short ball, wasn't even accurate. And he just didn't look like the quarterback that would beat a franchise. And when you see somebody like Nick Foles, who led the Eagles to a Super Bowl championship in 2017-18, then you got to try and get somebody with that kind of pedigree to either A, give Trubisky a little bit of a threat a little bit in a sense that, hey, we've got a good quality backup behind you. If you don't start playing well, you're out of here. And then B, either that or they try and improve him for 1 year, but they don't want to lock him up for anything more than this year because if he fails again, then they want him gone.
Yeah, and then obviously I would agree with it. I mean, Trubisky, he's had his chances to prove himself, although this is his final year to do so. I mean, over the course of his last 3 years, he's never even reached a higher QBR rating he's never reached triple digits ever. The highest was his 2018 season when they brought him to the playoffs. His highest was 95.4 with his QBR rating, which for a franchise quarterback is not the greatest nowadays with the NFL, with people reaching 120s, 110s. They're reaching those triple digits with ease. And then having a quarterback that struggles this much and has an interception problem to go with it and accuracy problem, it's just the recipe for disaster. But however, the problem is with Trubisky is he still technically has this year. He could stay if he does produce. The Bears could pull the trigger and have him stay once again, because if you don't remember, Kyle Fuller was also he had his rookie contract in his season. He had it terminated. They were going. He had his fifth-year option declined, and they were all ready to get rid of him. And then magically, the year they were going to get rid of him, he becomes an All-Pro honors. He's becoming one of the better corners in the entire league, and he proved himself, and the Bears extend him after that and give him the big money. So what's to say that Trubisky magically, I'm just saying, just magically has a season that it's very, very low chances, but what's to say that he has a chance to say that he has it? But in my opinion, that's extremely unlucky or unlikely, and it's probably most likely not going to happen because no matter what, I mean, Trubisky is not the best quarterback unless he could just pull some accuracy out of nowhere and be able to finally hit his wide receivers. Now that he's got Ted Ginn and he's going to be able to just cheese with Allen Robinson all the time. I mean, if Allen Robinson could just jump higher, I mean, maybe he could catch those balls. But I think that just this Trubisky was the right decision by the Bears, and Trubisky is finally out of Chicago, hopefully.
Okay, I love how you're blaming Allen Robinson for not being able to catch a ball. It does not help when Trubisky throws a receiver 10 yards over or underthrows them. So that does not help at all. First of all, this team has absolutely no incentive to pick up Trubisky's fifth-year option. I knew that from the beginning of last season. Had they picked this up, they would have paid him $24 million in 2021 unless they cut him prior to the season, which we all knew as Bear fans, this is not a surprise. It's not a surprise. Or if they would have kept Trubisky, which would have been a surprise for me, they would have paid him $24 million to throw 30 picks or 30 interceptions like Jameis Winston, or bench him in the middle of the season like they did with Marcus Mariota in Tennessee. Now, what does this mean for Trubisky going forward? Well, the Bears have declared an open competition for starting quarterback, with Trubisky battling veteran Nick Foles for the job. Regardless of what move Pace made with Trubisky's fifth-year option, the 26-year-old quarterback in Trubisky was going to have to prove himself again, no matter what would have happened. Trubisky needs to convince Matt Nagy he knows how to read coverages, improve his presence and consistently make the kind of game-changing plays that separate standout quarterbacks like Tom Brady from mediocre quarterbacks in Jameis Winston. Pace not only drafted Trubisky, like you said, with the number 2 overall pick in 2017, he made a bold trade to move up one slot to draft him. It was clear that the Bears rated Trubisky significantly ahead of Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes in Deshaun Watson, then built him around with a talented defense and guys like Mac, Trevathan, and now Robert Quinn. And they added worthwhile pieces on the offensive side of the ball and Allen Robinson. And now, like you said, again, and they hired a bunch of coaches that have a lot of quarterback knowledge in a quarterback-friendly system. Now, with this latest contract decision, we know Trubisky is now going to fight for his future in the organization. Otherwise, he's going to say goodbye to this franchise, and, well, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, all Trubisky really has to do is to hit the target. I mean, I got this football over here. If he is able to hit the camera like a normal quarterback would, it'd be amazing. But see, anytime he goes like that, just absolutely nothing. What are you gonna do? The Bears, they're done. I would have just gotten rid of him, in my opinion, in the first, at least this third season. After he declined. He gained weapons like from last year. He got Cordell Patterson. He got all the weapons.
Yeah, I forgot to mention him.
And he declined instead. His QBR went down. His interceptions basically were like even with his last year, which was not a great because they still had 10 interceptions. He had everything going up for him, and he only just brought the Bears down and the entire city of Chicago with him. It is just a tragedy for the Bears, and I could tell from anyone I know that is a Bears and that they are tired of this man and they want him out. And I could, with this fifth-year option being declined, I just hope, or I'm just saying, I hope for my Bears fans and be nicer to them that they will end their misery with this Trubisky madness they've been dealing with for the last 3 years and get him out of here and find maybe a new quarterback out of free agency, or even just trust Nick Foles to even get him back to his Super Bowl glory.
So
first and foremost, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say this part of Trubisky. We know in 2018 the Bears were 12-4. They went to the wild card game and lost to Philadelphia. Now, many people think Trubisky had a great year. He completed 67% of his passes, passed for 3,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions, like you said, with a QBR of 95.4. People still do not get that the defense aided Trubisky in 2018. They still don't get that. Many people still don't get it. And then last year in 2019, we were like, oh, that's right. They went 8-8 last season. It's because of the defense. Without that defense, I am telling you right now, that team would have never finished 8-8. Go ahead, Matt.
All right. Well, here's the thing. First and foremost, I don't feel bad for the Bears at all. You got that. You've literally done it to yourself 3 times. Rex Grossman, Jay Cutler, now Trubisky. You've done it to yourself 3 times.
It's not even those 3. It's their entire quarterbacks they've ever had.
Yes, before inside Sid Luckman in the 60s, but yes.
When Jay Cutler
sounds accurate.
Passer, like the leading franchise pass for the Bears, that's a problem.
Yes.
That is very true. Secondly, I think that you guys can't complain because look at the logo I wear in my head. But I think the Bears' biggest weakness is the fact that they just have never had stable quarterback play, maybe ever, in this organization. They need to draft. I thought they should have drafted somebody this year. The problem is there was no good quarterbacks left at the time they drafted. And, I think the big thing, I've said biggest already, but I don't care. The big thing for the Bears is they need stability. And if they don't have that at relatively any position, which I think the only ones you have right now on the defense or linebacker is on the defense. I'm saying a lot of weird things. I think their quarterback position needs a big-time boost. I think, let's see here. If they can get Trevor Lawrence next year, of course, that'd be great. But I don't know what kind of quarterbacks they can get next year. I'll ask a question to you. Either one of you can answer it. Do you think the Bears solve their quarterback problems with what they have right now in Nick Foles, in free agency, or in the draft? Where do they attack?
You know what? For right now, it will be Nick Foles. But I said this when me and Ethan and I did the Packers one. Aaron Rodgers is going to become free after the contract perspective with the money. They're going to release him because of Jordan Love. And I would not be shocked if he went to the rival team of the Bears, just to despite the Packers, how bad he's been treated by the organization.
I'd hold your horses.
I could see that too.
You would rather
hold
play
my horses.
Hold your horses, because I mean the Bears don't even have the money to pay older guys. They're having to release them like crazy. What's to say they're going to be able to sign that massive contract with Rodgers? And what says that Rodgers wants to go play for the Bears when obviously his hometown heroes for the 49ers might be looking for a quarterback in the next few years if Jimmy Garoppolo keeps continuing to choke. So
I told you this. They are keeping Jimmy Garoppolo because of the money, and they seem pretty committed. I mean, they just went to the Super Bowl last season, so there's
more than just the money for that Garoppolo thing, but whatever.
I understand that he is not the best quarterback, but he just went to the Super Bowl last season. Yes, he has a great offense and a great defense, but like this, he's going to probably take a step forward this year, and if he does, there is no way Aaron Rodgers is going there.
Aaron Rodgers is going to find a place right now that has no stable quarterback, which is why I think that the Bears is definitely not the worst of ideas. But the other one that I think people are forgetting is Indianapolis, because this is Phillip Rivers' farewell tour. And Rodgers is trying to find a place where he can, finish his career the right way. That too. Doesn't want to get his ass kicked. And I think by going to Indy when you have that offensive line, that solves some problems.
So let me ask you this. I understand Phillip Rivers is in his last year of he's on a 1-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts, but why would they not give Jacoby Brissett another opportunity?
Well, this is also Jacoby Brissett's last year on their contract as well.
Okay.
So, if they don't re-sign him, which I don't think they have any chance of doing in the first place, then that just opens the door for another quarterback.
Correct.
Because, the whole reason why he's there is he's the backup plan for Phillip Rivers if he ever gets injured, because the man is way too old. And he's not the fastest, and he's slowly but surely losing his arm strength after he keeps having more and more kids. So he's
oh my God.
That sounds like a classic Ethan thing to say.
Yeah, it really does.
Too many kids equals less arm strength.
All right, so getting back to the Nick Foles and Trubisky issue. So when they acquired Nick Foles has proven in Philadelphia he can step in and get the job done. He did it in the year they won the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz, they were 11-2. He got hurt, stepped in. They went 13-3, and they won the Super Bowl. They did it the next year when the Eagles were 5-6. Wentz got hurt again. He resurrected their season, led them to 9-7. You know what happened at Soldier Field. I don't want to talk about that, though. But we know Nick Foles has played under Bill Lazar, John DeFilippo in Philadelphia, and then he played under Nagy in Kansas City. It almost seems like, to me, I've said this, it almost seems like they've recognized or reorganized the coaching staff with him in mind.
They've done that everywhere he's gone.
Yeah, that's true. He's gone to the Eagles. He's gone to the Rams. He's gone to the Chiefs. Then back to the Eagles again. Then to the Jags. He's been all over the place. His career stats have been a roller coaster. So you never know what you're going to get with BDN, Mr. Nick Foles. He's just he's the type of guy. I've always said that as much as I do personally. I think I'll say this more logically. I don't think that he will be the greatest fit for the Bears, but for a more of a meme standpoint, the Bears lost to the Nick Foles. Now that they got Nick Foles, what's stopping them from making the playoffs this year? Because that was the only guy that knocked them out. And now that they have him on their side, what other weapons are? So if they lose to let's say they go and they lose to I don't know, whoever they start off in the playoffs, they go up against someone like San Francisco. They go after Jimmy Garoppolo next. What's the point? They're just going to keep finding the people that knock them out the next year. The Bears.
Yeah, that was like Kevin Durant.
So, yeah, I get that Nick Foles, he is not a long-term fit. I get that. He's a short-term fit, but he is a better quarterback than Trubisky. I think anyone can argue that. He's a better deep throw than Trubisky because I don't know about you guys. You don't maybe not watch the Bears regularly, but how many times has anyone seen Trubisky overthrow, underthrow passes deep? I don't have enough fingers to count that. Okay. We know Foles plays the run and play option, the RPO, well. Trubisky has struggled with that in Nagy's system. Foles makes decisions quicker than Trubisky can. He looks at a defense and he processes what's happening and he makes the play. Trubisky still cannot read a cover 2 defense.
Attaboy, Trubisky.
Sounds about right.
I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just if you're so hyped about Nick Foles, do you think this is the year? Because I mean, Nick Foles is only under contract for the next 2 years. Do you think in these next 2 years, do you think that the Bears?
I think it's 3 actually. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think it's 3.
3 years.
It is 3, yes.
In the next 3 years, if he is really the savior, do you think the Bears will win the Super Bowl?
If
with
Nick,
all the teams?
Go ahead.
I'm just saying.
Oh, if Nick Foles is Philadelphia, Nick Foles, because he does have similar offensive. I'm not finished. Of good offensive weapons. He has a great coach in Matt Nagy. He knows the offense. He knows the quarterback coaches. Why not? I think they have a good chance. They'll have probably a 15-topped offense, and they still have one of the best defenses in the league. So why not make a Super Bowl run? Because I can see it.
I cannot believe we just put Bears in top 15 offense in the same sentence.
Okay, they will be a decent offense, okay? Maybe a top 15, top 20. I'm not saying they're going to be
maybe top 32. They may be top 32.
They're not going to be top 32. With Mitch Trubisky, they were top 20.
Well, yes, they are. They're guaranteed top 32 in offense.
Oh my God!
You
are acting like they are worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is not true.
On offense, there's a distinct possibility of this.
No.
They got Minshew.
Who's got the better quarterback? Answer that question. Who's got the better quarterback right now? Go.
As of right now, it is Gardner Minshew. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Nick Foles
my point is, who's got the better running back? Who's got the better running back?
Jags.
Okay, listen here.
Thank you.
Hold on. Montgomery has not been able to prove himself yet, okay? He has not had enough time.
Their offensive line is atrocious.
Okay.
So, and Fournette still kills people.
Okay, who has a better defense?
I'm telling you. Exactly my point, but I'm saying on the offense, we are still better than Chicago is. And I don't think there's any debating that. You can try all you want.
Okay.
I think that the Bears are one of the weakest offenses in the league.
Okay.
And until they get – it's not just a quarterback that they need. They need more pieces. You don't need 30,000 tight ends. That's not going to help.
Yeah, I know that doesn't help.
Yeah. I mean, tell that to Ryan Pace. But, I think that the main situation the Bears need to solve, and we can all agree on this, offense needs fixing now. Otherwise, this team is not going anywhere.
Yes, you have a point with the offensive line. If Nick Foles is able to come in and somehow save the day like he did in Philadelphia, this team will be good, okay? But
you have to get Trubisky to get injured because that's the only way he won. Carson Wentz got injured. You got to get Trubisky to get injured so then Nick Foles can come in to save the day.
We all know Trubisky has some arm issue.
Starter.
I don't know what it is with his arm, but
Nick Foles is not a good personal starter at the start of the year. He's never won a Super Bowl when he's at the start of the year. He's never had a good career when he's starting at the start of the year.
Well, I guess this is a trial and error year then. I mean, as much as I don't want to say that, it kind of is.
Okay, at least you're not doomed for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, at least your organization isn't
I would like
doomed for the
to
next 10
remind
years.
everyone the Jacksonville Jaguars made the playoffs in 2018, and I can't find them.
I'm starting to think you guys are heading down the same road.
The Bears,
you guys fix that offense.
Then the playoffs either. I hope not to burst your bubble, but yeah.
I don't see the Bears either. Yeah, no, I'm in that same boat too. Again, I think that the Bears right now with 7 playoff spots definitely have an increased chance. There are a lot of There are 2 NFC teams that were not as good as them last year that have now become much better than them, and I can name them both: Bucks and Cardinals. They're both better than your teams now. The thing is now that's more competition to go up against.
Yeah, I mean, you got Tom Brady and the Bucks and that just fantastic offense. And then you got Arizona now with an emerging quarterback in Kyler Murray, like you said. Now they got not only Larry Fitzgerald, but they got D-Hop on that team now too. So, I mean.
And they're building a defense. They are in a heavy process of building a defense.
Yes. So that is yet to be seen. So, like you said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just praying for the best. That's all I got to say.
In my opinion.
I mean, I can't pray for much of anything. But, Jaguars fans.
Yay, Jaguars fans. But in my opinion, I think that
Ooh.
Bears, as much as they try and fill the void for this quarterback that they've never really had, having a stable quarterback is a big thing for any Super Bowl team, and the Bears have been missing that for years. So as much as their defense is godlike, I will admit, this Nick Foles Trubisky thing, yes, it's a thing to talk about, but I think the more thing to talk about is preparing the rest of your offense to survive one of these quarterbacks. I mean, you got Allen Robinson, who's a decent wide receiver. I think he's overrated. And then you've got
overrated by who?
People are
You've offended two people now.
top 5 wide receiver, and that pisses me off.
How is Allen Robinson not like a top 15 receiver?
Yeah,
though?
exactly.
Like I said, I get pissed off by people putting him too high. I still believe he's one of the better wide receivers. I don't like when people put him high up. That's what I mean by.
I will say this: he was better in Jacksonville. I mean, I don't know whether that's situational or whether that's just
that's
change of.
See, that's the thing. I don't know that because like he did play that one great year with Blake Bortles. Don't get me wrong, but like the other couple of years, he was still decent. So like maybe it's just him. Maybe it's just him that he's great because when you're
bring Allen Robinson to LA, get rid of Jared Goff, and they become the greatest duo in NFL history.
Trubisky's overthrowing and underthrowing receivers, he's still catching them. So I think that makes him a good receiver.
There you go.
Right?
You found your new quarterback of the future. Just go get Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles.
There you go. Give him the second chance. Nick Foles and Blake Bortles. Nick Foles and Blake Bortles are your two quarterbacks now. Roll with that. See how that goes.
Get Nathan Peterman.
Oh, man.
The three-headed monster.
Hey, I can't say Trubisky's worse than Nathan Peterman. I'll give you that one. I mean, if you look at that situation, or Mike Glennon, Jesus.
Yeah.
That was nightmare day. That was nightmare days in Chicago.
That was
there was that, and then there was hell, and Mike Glennon was the definition of hell in Chicago.
Yeah, that was not good. Okay.
That was, not an entertaining time in your franchise.
Yeah.
One more thing before we finish our discussion about Trubisky, though. I want to bring up Nagy for a bit about his play calling, too. That's definitely taken the dip because, in my opinion, when we talk Bears offense, too, you always got to bring up the fact that everyone figured out their system and how they run very, very quickly. It took them a year, and these defenses are stacking up against them. The Bears were not a high-scoring team. Their points per game was pretty tragic from the last time. They went from 26.3 points per year, like points per game, to 17.5 last year. And yes, Trubisky had some input with that, but it's also part of the coaching staff to help the people around them because they didn't have a running offense at all. That was non-existent. They didn't have, so that brings more pressure to Trubisky, and Trubisky's obviously bad under pressure. So I think there's a little bit more to blame on Nagy too. People don't talk about that for not really using Trubisky in the right way, knowing his strengths and weaknesses. Like Bill Belichick probably had a hand of Trubisky. He probably would be able to do a lot better with him, in my opinion, because he's just the emperor himself. He'll be able to pull anything good out of anybody. But that's why I think Matt Nagy needs to learn from this offseason to fix those mistakes. They got to fix their offensive line. My God. And then they have to give Trubisky or whoever is behind the quarterback. Because even if Nick Foles is quarterback, if you don't have an offensive line, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to have a running offense. You're not going to have a passing offense. You're not going to have offense at all. You don't have your offensive line. So I think the Bears should start putting some more blame on the people who really deserve it, like the offensive lineman Nagy, and quit bullying Trubisky as much as he is.
As much as I would love to refute that, I can't. So there you go.
Here's the one thing that I've always just found interesting. Like you look at, I would say we add to a list of one-hit wonders in Jacksonville, Chicago, and I don't know, but like a team perhaps maybe even like Tennessee. Notice how their head coaches had just had like one really good year. Like Marone in his first year, everybody thought was one of the most incredible coaches, and now he looks like absolutely terrible. And Nagy had his one really good year where he was like the new face of that organization, and people really like his playmaking was so strong, and like his play calling was so strong, and it's just he was able to really build a good foundation. And now he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
You could put the same thing with the Rams too. I mean,
Sean
yeah, they
McVay,
finished higher.
Yes, Sean
but
McVay.
they
That was
figured
the one
it
I was
out.
thinking of. Thank you.
Yes.
Because he was the Rams coach that was the guy that literally led to every other coaching job in the world leading to NFL. He's the reason why Cliff Kingsbury is a actual coach for the Arizona Cardinals, because he was in the Sean McVay system. All these other coaches, including, I'm pretty sure Matt LaFleur was under. I'm pretty sure, I believe Sean McVay, anyone that touched or knew or even talked to Sean McVay at the time got a coaching job. And then after everyone praised him so much.
Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor, that's who I was also thinking of. All those guys that even had any sort of touch with Sean McVay, they've reached their point, and then that's why you got to be able to change with each year. You got to have a new system for each year, and that's why sticking with the same situation every single year is easy for these the people in the chess. It's basically a whole chess game, so it's easier for people to stack their kings and easily figure out how their plan works and all that jazz.
All right, all. Thanks for watching another episode of All About Sports. We'll see you later.